the lower back, flatten against the floor as the knees come in. Adding a little bit of extra pressure with the arms to hug those legs in. And that's going to help to increase that stretch in the lower back. And your next exhale, you can release the arms. You're going to take arms out into our T position, pressing the palms down into the floor. And then lifting the shins up into a tabletop position. So shins end up parallel to the floor. Starting out with an inhale and center. On your exhale, with control, slowly lower the legs to the right side. Now if it's comfortable on your neck, you're going to turn the head to look over toward the left hand. The head's going to be going the opposite way of the legs. Draw the head into center. Slow exhale, you can lower the legs to the left side. If you're comfortable there, take your head over to look at the right hand. Pull back up to center, legs come up, bring the head into the middle. Start out drawing the knees into the chest, so bring the hands onto the shins. On your next inhale, send the heels up to the ceiling, taking the hands onto the back of the legs. Wherever the hands are, make sure that you can still keep those shoulder blades tucked underneath the back so that we don't start to close off through the chest. Warm up the feet a little bit here. If you want to point and flex the toes. On your next exhale, you can draw the knees into the chest. We're going to drop the soles of the feet down onto the mat to get ready for our bridge pose. So planting the feet hip distance apart. Inches of space in between the bottom of the hips and the heels so that the ankles are basically right underneath the knees. So just like we would for a balancing pose, we want to spread the toes out and then press the toes down into the floor to get a good grip of the feet. On our exhale, roll the hips back to flatten the lower back. And then we'll inhale, starting from the base of the spine, lift your tailbone. So you're going to start to curl the tailbone up toward the ceiling, and then one vertebrae at a time roll up the back until it's just the shoulder blades in the upper back that are pressing onto the floor. Trying to lift the hips up toward the ceiling for bridge. So if you have sensitive knees, you want to be extra careful with bridge pose because it can put a little bit of pressure, especially on the front of the knee. So if you feel any discomfort in the front of the knee, you want to walk the feet just a little bit farther away from you. And then you also want to think about engaging all the muscles in the thigh. Typically, the inner thigh muscles are a little bit weaker, and what happens is the knees will start to flop out to the sides. So think about just gently activating those inner thigh muscles. So the knees are drawing together, but we don't want to try and touch the knees. They want to stay hip distance apart. Now on our exhale, we're going to roll back down the spine. So one vertebrae at a time. Rolling down through the back, and eventually the hips will settle down. You can release the tailbone. You get back into that natural arch in the lower back, and then we'll pull the knees into the chest. So that was our first bridge. We're going to take a couple more bridges, but we're going to work on just the articulation of the spine. So just rolling up into your bridge on the inhale, and rolling down on your exhale, trying to get as much movement in the spine as you can. So take a little rock from side to side here, loosen up the lower back. Coming into center on your exhale, plant the feet down. Make sure you get that good spacing, a little bit of space between the heels and the hips, and then the feet are hip distance apart, so lined up with the hips. On your exhale, roll the hips back, lower back flattens. Inhale, starting from the tailbone, one foot at a time, rolling up. And then exhale, rolling all the way down. So a couple more times like that, just moving with the breath. On your exhale, roll the hips back, lower back flattens. Inhale, roll up, lifting the hips in the bridge. Exhale, rolling down. Moving at a pace that's good for you. Sometimes it helps to think of the spine, the individual vertebrae, kind of like a string of pearls. So you want to think like you're going one pearl at a time, laying down onto the floor. Okay, we'll take one more full breath like this, rolling up and rolling down. Nice wave going up and down the spine. When you're done, pulling the knees into the chest, rocking from side to side. We'll take an exhale, roll over onto your right side, press the left palm into the floor to roll yourself up to sitting. Come up into a nice sukhasana, cross-legged easy pose. Or whatever leg you like to have in front, we're going to switch. Take the opposite leg in front. And into the tighter hip. So one of the other things that I wanted to talk about today were just easy things that you can do when you have a headache. From what I was reading about headaches, they think that 75% of our headaches that we get are actually from muscle tension in the neck, muscle tension in the jaw, and up in the forehead and around the temples. So one of the main causes of this is that when we're sitting in our car or sitting at our computer, once the shoulders start to round forward, that tension is going to go right up into the neck and it's going to put the head kind of out front, that little turtle position. And then what happens is the muscles of the neck have to work harder because we don't have that good alignment. When you have the head back, the spine gives that nice support for the weight of the head. When you push it forward, these muscles get really tight. And that's one of the biggest triggers for like a tension headache or a stress headache. So what I wanted to do was just some little gentle massage techniques for the neck and for the head. So we're going to start out taking the fingers right along the back of the head. And you want to find the spot at the base of the skull, right where the neck and the skull meet. And you'll feel that you can kind of dig your fingers in right either side. If that spot's tender, maybe that's somewhere that you tend to hold a little bit of tension. Now we're going to take the hands down around to the sides, and you want to find that meaty part right at the curve of the jawbone on either side. And just give a little bit of pressure there, little circles. And this is a spot a lot of people tend to hold stress when they clench their jaw or if you grind your teeth at night. Feel it right there. And a lot of times that extra muscle tension in there can lead to like a TMJ, all that lovely pain that people get in their jawbone. up to the temples. So you can use the fingertips or you can use the thumbs. And just find that little indented spot. Help us to get a better release in these muscles if we're doing our deep breathing at the same time. For the temples, if you want to use the thumbs on the temples, you can actually take the first two fingers onto that space right in between the eyebrows. That place where we kind of scrunch our eyebrows is another place that we pull tension in the face. Here, we're going to go right over onto the eyebrows. You're going to take the pointer finger on the top and the thumb right underneath the eyebrow and almost do like a little squeeze all the way down. And then if you come right into the middle, you'll find that there's a little pressure point kind of on the inside of the bridge of the nose, right where the bridge of the nose and the eyebrow meet. You can do some little circles there. Over just about a centimeter, you'll find a spot on that bone where there's like a little tiny indent. Basically, there's a nerve that travels through right there. So if you take the thumbs and just put a little bit of gentle pressure on that spot, it actually doesn't feel comfortable at all when you do that. It's kind of a little bit, feels like a little bit of pressure in the forehead. But if you have a headache and you do this, once you release that pressure point, it'll take some of the headache away. It works really well. The next time you have a headache, try that. All right, now we'll take an inhale. Sweep the arms up. And release the fingers. On your exhale, take the hands behind the head. We'll drop the chin down to the chest and just relax the weight of the hands right onto the back of the head. So we're not actually pressing the head down. It's just the weight of the arms kind of assisting gravity to get that stretch in the back of the neck. And your inhale, coming up to sitting, flip the palms up to the ceiling. And we'll take an exhale, bring the arms behind the back. So interlacing the fingers, trying to press the palms together behind the back, roll the shoulders back, and then drop the chin down for the chest one more time. We'll start to gently move the head from left to right. See if you can find a spot that's tight on either side. You can go side to side. You can turn the neck a little bit. Exploring those neck muscles until you find the tight spot.
When you do find a tight spot?
You can hang out there for a minute. You don't have to keep switching back and forth. If you find a good spot, feel free to stay there.